Lonely Pine Bee Farm here. It's been a while since I've done a video. Had one of my hives swarm on me. But my biggest issue I've been having last month have been ants. I made a video before about how to control ants, and I tried it, and it seemed to work. But the biggest issue with the grease type deal, it makes a mess. And eventually the grease dries out, and the time that it takes you to apply the grease to the legs and all that, it's just time consuming, and it really don't work no better than the rest of the stuff that we use. So the simplest and easiest thing that I've found here is, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, my wife has corrected me many times on it, is Diatomaceous earth. It's a powder, and I cannot tell you exactly what it's made from. I have read it, I just don't forgot. But as you can see, there's one on the other leg over there. I sprinkle a little bit because I actually had ants get up into a hive, and I'm talking about in about 2 to 3 days, they just wreaked havoc on that hive, and it really hurt the bees. I assumed that the grease was working, because it was, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. But that stuff right there is a miracle worker. The only downside to it is when it rains. This is my second coat this month. We had a little bit of rain last week, and it still worked for about 3 or 4 days after the rain, but eventually the ants caught on that it was not there and started coming back. I was able to catch it early this morning before it really got too bad, the ant problem. Applied some more around each leg, and no more ants. It's cheap. It doesn't really cost all that much. That bag that I've got, I've used it before around the house. Inside, I was kind of worried about putting it around my bees, afraid that it was going to hurt the bees. Doesn't bother them a bit. They get down there on it, they'll just shake it off. It ain't no big deal to them. So, like I said, that's probably one of the best things that you can do. Easiest, all you got to do is go down there and sprinkle a little bit around the legs, let it be done with. But like I said, you will have to reapply if you get any rain, hard winds, anything that's going to blow the powder off of around the legs. Just go down there and sprinkle a little bit. It's a done deal. Anybody else having ant problems? I've tried just about everything. Cinnamon under the lids, I'm sorry, it might work for you. It did not work for me. I actually went to my barn and set a frame that had just a little bit of sugar water that the bees had stored in it, a little bit of honey on the sides. I just set the frame down there just to see. Got a good ant trail coming to it. I took the cinnamon and I sprinkled it completely as thick as I could without just making a big old pile of it around that frame. And I'm telling you, people, the ants crawled right over it and went straight for that frame. Now, your ants might be a little weak or whatever you want to call it, but these ants right here was not fazed by that cinnamon at all. So I don't put cinnamon under my lids. I'm not telling you to do it, not to do it. If you want to do it, go right ahead. By all means, if it works for you, it works for you, but it did not work for me. This right here, I have found, is the best thing to use. Like I said, I probably did not pronounce it right, but that is what I'm putting on each one of my legs on the ground. Just keep the grass cut around it and apply it after every rain. That simple. Lonely Pine Bee Farm. God bless. We're out.